What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Yago T's here to give you guys your review for Belle Collector Season 1, Episode 4. There is a great chance that I'm probably going to speak faster than normal because the panel is starting in 30 minutes. I actually, excuse me, had the times mixed up. So I'm going to try to hurry to get this out so I can be on the panel and then upload it while I'm on the panel. All right. So there we go. We briefly get to see the girls working in their professions, which was nice, but again, I want to see more of that. We have Tamara. She meets with a girl named Ramona, who is a GM for the local Fox 40 station, to get some advice. We learned that Tamara has wrote a book. She did something on Dish Nation, what don't exactly know, and she's on the radio. She's also done TV. She caught the television bug. She wants to progress. She knows to progress she has to leave Jackson. She asked Ramona about her life. Ramona wanted all, the family, the kids, the this, the that. But she learned that as her career continues to progress, that in order for her to have this child, because it wasn't going to be her in a relationship, that because she was in a relationship, she would have to leave. She would have to have a nanny full time, and didn't want that. And Tamara, just wants to live with no regret. So we get Letitia. She is meeting with a councilman, an appraisal, and the contractor. Now she wants to turn this particular building that's 2 stories, where on the top floor it's a venue that she can rent out for obviously money, and then on the bottom it will be a brunch cafe for her to do her brunches. Well, she's told that the building is not for sale, but it is for lease. It's a historical building, and I'm trying to figure out why wasn't this mentioned before. So that leads me to believe that the scene that we saw with her and the councilman before was literally just that, a scene. Because this should have came up. And it appears that she's going to lease it. And because they said after like 4 years, then they could revisit her actually owning it. But she was told also that $500,000 is going... let me put this on vibrate. $500,000 is going to go into the acquisition. 900,000 to 1.5 million will go towards renovation. Seeing that's how it's an older building. Since it's been exposed to the weather, there's other damage that has to be compensated for, and then having to bring it up to code, which definitely I understand. Like I said, my mother inherited 2 apartment buildings from her parents that we grew up in, built in the early 1900s, I believe 1910 to be exact. So things have been cosmetically done, but a lot has to be done, to really bring this place back up. And it's probably going to take how much these buildings are worth to actually get the stuff done. Not here nor there, but just saying I understand. The only difference is this place there hasn't been any, weather damage to the inside. So good stuff on that. Just thought I'd share that with you. Okay. So now we got Marie. She's with Dr. Chandler, who was a therapist, and her son Jerez. Initially I was thinking, why didn't she go to see, have someone within her organization do this? But it's best to find somebody on the outside. That's what I said in my last review. She provides the audio of what he said to the therapist, so he wouldn't have to say it, but it seems so chopped up. The therapist asked Jay how he felt, and he felt everything was happening for no reason. I'm still going to school. That's his thought. But again, it's a lot more. It seemed like some of what they were talking about was very surface, unless, and this is probably more than likely what happened, this is truly a therapy session. So obviously you don't want to sit here and rock has too much. So can understand that. Marie is told to talk to her son, tell him how she feels, and she says it hasn't clicked in your mind how blessed you are to have a mother who goes above and beyond. Right there, I'm like, see, you can't do that. Like, you can express that, but to say it hasn't clicked in your mind, these are it's certain things that you say that can bring about a reaction that you don't need. He just told you, say how you feel. All she had to do is just say, I feel underappreciated because I do so much for you, and I don't think you really appreciate that. That's one thing, rather than saying, I don't think it's clicked in your... See, I'm only saying this because I've done therapy. Now, mind you, it's been individual therapy, which I think both she and her son need individual fucking therapy in addition to family therapy. But I'm just saying. Okay, bring it back, y'all. She lets us know that she says to him, I was 18-year-old when I had you. I was in a dark place dealing with my mom not being there. Again, I'll get to it. Her mom was her role model, but things got stripped away when she was 8 years old and had to live with her father because of the simple fact that she was on drugs and whatnot. And she vowed to be the best mom that she could be because her mother wasn't there. And her breakthrough in her life was having her son. Now, what I'm saying here is, one, yes, she does need therapy, but it seems as if she overcompensated for what her mother didn't do, because you vowed to be the best mother that you could, but in trying to do that, you thought that by giving him things, because you didn't tell therapists that unless they cut that out, but by giving him things, you're overcompensated for what it is that you're not giving him, which he needed a hell of a lot more than just materialistic things. And the fact that you let him know at a young age that you would just give and give and give, and there is no repercussion, there's nothing there. This is also what you got. But for her to have a mental health facility, but you still haven't connected the dots as to why your mother will leave you because of a controlled substance, ma'am, do better. The therapist says, you may be a great athlete, but you have to challenge yourself to be quiet and to be still. And then he begins to talk to him in basketball terms. And that's one thing where when you're talking to somebody, you have to reach them where they're at. And sometimes you have to come down a few levels. And that's not a bad thing. It's just you have to talk to somebody in the manner in which they would understand. Trust me, I do that a lot. Some of my relatives, huh? And then he says, I'm sorry. No. I already said that. And he tells him, you may be the best player, but your attitude and your anger can mess that all the way up for you. And he tells him, being a man is a challenge. And that's a fact. Because, we all, for the males, we all are males. But to be a man is something totally different, because being a man is not even just a mindset. It's a mindset, and it's a way of living, and it's a lot that comes with that. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. It's a lot of refinement and growing that comes with that. And he tells him that losing your temper and damaging property, that's because you don't know how to release. Facts. He doesn't have a way to channel that, and he hasn't been given the tools to deal with certain things, and doesn't know how to verbalize what it is he's feeling, because his first instinct is to get upset, and he's upset because it's hard for it to come out. Just saying, this is typical for a lot of African American men. Just saying. And he said, you can be anybody you want, but I want you to be the best man you can be. And the way he was talking to him was great, but this is one of those songs that he does need a male figure in his life to be, reinforcing that. But I was glad for this. And then he tells the mama, don't record nothing else. Don't do it. I loved it. So we got Latrice at her job, doing work, but she is trying to focus on getting her hair care up and running. She is not worried about Letitia and this brunch, especially given the fact that Marie's going to be there. So then you have Letitia and Antoinette. Letitia invited Antoinette to this Mississippi Civil Rights Museum. Letitia wants to use it as a avenue to talk to her about women's empowerment moving forward and invite her to this brunch. Antoinette mentions her being called out of her name, living in the South. And then we hear, all we ever did was bleed black. Why they hate us. And I'm trying to see, do I really want to go into this? I'll give you this. The reason why some European Americans hate us, and those that identify as white, because there's a difference between being a European American in the broad umbrella and then being white. Huge difference. But the reason being is because, yes, we helped build this thing together. Build this thing as a group, African Americans. We helped build this. And because we were here just as long as you were, you can't kick us out. So other people that have come over as immigrants, because we came over as slaves. Our ancestors came over as slaves. But people that come over here as immigrants, you can send them back. you can't send us anywhere, because America is just as much ours as it is yours. And obviously there is a bit of hate there. And then also a lot of what we have in America is because of African Americans. During slavery, right before the slaves were being released, a lot of the slave owners took what African Americans or the African American slaves made to make life easier and took them to get patent. Or what they did is they had somebody analyze it, adjust one or two things, and then patent it. So a lot of what we did, y'all took credit for. And look, you hate us because you ain't us. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't even gonna go too deep into it, because then that's a long conversation, and I got somewhere to be in 22 minutes. So anyway, Antoinette mentions how things like the flag, the Confederate flag, things that are considered culture and history, it appears that it comes off as being passed down racism. That is a whole nother conversation for another day. Just wanted to bring it to your attention. Letitia invites her to the brunch and says we will have an announcement there, which I wish she would just go ahead and just tell the women what the announcement is, rather than trying to have it for this one event. But whatever. So we get Tamra. She's on a date, and the way she talks, it really reminds me of, take Trina Braxton, mix it with a Valley Girl, and then also add in a nasally talk, and this is who you get. Y'all tell me if y'all see it. But the guy she's on a date with is Damon. That was her ex. Met as teenagers. They've been together for many years. He doesn't have kids, but he wants kids. They didn't work out because he got too comfortable. All the things he used to do, he stopped doing. He blames it on her, going from being the Tamra that he knows to being Tambra, whatever her last name is. But she's not against a second date, and she's down for one. So we have this emergency brunch. I'm doing a good job, because the last of this is pages, and we got some stuff to talk about. So we have Tambra, she's hosting, which is good. We have Dorothy Davis, she's there as well as the councilman. So Marie brings Essie, which I can see why she's bringing her, but to me it seemed like she brought Essie as backup in the event that Antoinette and Latrice came. You can't tell me any different. Antoinette hugs Essie, then she hugs Marie. Marie says, I get a hug today? Oh, you don't have your entourage with you. Antoinette is a better one than me, because I would have literally just went in and let her. Or I would have nice nasty just walked the hell off and left her stuck on stupid, because I'm trying to embrace you right now, and rather than just to take it, you're trying to start something already, and this is supposed to be your friend event that you want to go off without a hitch, but you already on that bull. Okay. So Antoinette brings Kaylon, because we see her walk in, so it doesn't appear they came together, but she came. The brunch starts with affirmation, don't care. They eat, don't care. Tamra then asks who has experienced racism. Now, the entire room is African American, with the exception of Kaylon, who is European American. Now, this is one of those where I didn't like that the conversation started when it did, because I felt like Letitia should have made her announcement first, and then this conversation starts. But again, Tambra's the MC, and Letitia's letting her take the reins. One African American woman didn't raise her hand when she has they experienced racism, and Tambra says, because they both are fair skinned African American women, until 4 months ago, I hadn't experienced it. Or I guess it's one of those where she realized that it was going on, and she was in a all-inclusive gas station. She was just sitting in her car waiting to be serviced. A European American person drives up, and then whoever was in there came out to assist that person. And like I said, that's light on the scale, but it's right there. I mean, it still is what it is. I said that. So colorism comes up. Letitia brings up that fair-skinned African American women possibly experience it, but because of their complexion, they complexion of their skin, they may have missed it. And I think what she was trying to say is, I guess, all together, because you do have some fair skinned African Americans that may not necessarily feel it or experience it if they are the only one in the situation or in a particular field. But if you have a plethora, if you have a dynamic, if you have a full scale of African Americans, from the darkest chocolate to even the albino, you'll definitely see it. You'll see it. Antoinette says her experience with racism despite colorism is the same as a light-skinned African-American woman. In her field, she isn't given any grace because she is fair-skinned. When she walks into a room with all European Americans, she isn't fair-skinned. She's black. And you can see that Antoinette is picking her words very carefully because her friend is there. But what she just said is what I pretty much alluded to, is if you're the only one, the only person of color, I won't even say, if you're the only African American person in a room and everyone else is European American, regardless of your complexion, you're going to be treated as just that one. But if there are other people who happen to be more darker than you will definitely see it. And in certain fields, it is like that. It's noticeable. I don't think I'll be able to touch on any of my experiences. If I can, I will. Where are we? So Kaylon is disturbed in her spirit, and she has to get up. And I feel like this was a scheme that Carlos King set up to come to us with the bullshit. Because I feel like, especially when you have someone who is doing a hosting it, who is speaking, you have an outline of things that you want to talk about. I'm pretty sure production knew this was going to come up and probably encouraged Antoinette to bring Kaylon. You can't tell me anything different. But she's upset in her spirit, and Kaylon gets up and walks away. Now, Antoinette goes checks on her friend. I expect that to happen. I really do. Kaylon says, we don't talk about people like that. Letitia gets up because this is her event to go check on Kaylon. Now, I wouldn't have. You're leaving your group to go attend to this woman. Her friend is out there. And I understand why she did it. I would have kept this whole train moving. Would have kept this whole thing going the way that it was. But she would not let her check on it. And Kaylon is breaking down. And she has internalized that all of what they were saying was directed at her. And it's one of those where you have to read the room. You have to understand what is going on. Because it is one thing when someone is speaking of their own experiences, even though they may be painting with a broad brush, they're speaking about their experiences rather than saying all white people and you, because that wasn't going on. So she internalized it, and she wants to have a moment. Because, and even if she felt a way, she could have sat there and been able to articulate and vocalize exactly what it is, that she was trying to get across, what that point was, but she didn't do that. Anyway, I hate when I go off on tangents because I forget to mark my place. So Letitia goes to check on Kaylon as well as Tom. I was just like, oh my gosh. And Kaylon says, we don't talk about people like that. White people don't talk about don't talk about y'all like that. Tamara and Letitia tell her that we are not talking about you, and you should not feel uncomfortable. And it's the reason she felt uncomfortable. And then they tell her, we wasn't trying to offend you, and you can help be a part of the conversation, which you can. Because granted, one person can't change the world, but one person can lead to change. And you can go back and educate those that you are around. I'm going to get to this in a second. Let me not do that. So Antoinette pulls Kaylon off to the side. And Kaylon doesn't want them to think that white people hate black people. Antoinette says she knows the ladies are talking. Tells her she knows. And the ladies are talking about their experiences. Antoinette and Kaylon have had conversations on the topic. My question is, how deep did these topics go? How far down the rabbit hole did these topics go? And I'm going to stop right here to give y'all just a real quick one. So when I was at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, now in uniform, I wore my yarmulke, kippah, whatever you want to call it. And I was getting like, this was before I stopped wearing it because I had to get myself ready for going to Europe because I did not want to have a target on my back for not just being Jew but being an African American Jew. I didn't want that. I didn't want no extra trouble, let me tell you. But because they have all, like, everyone was used to me wearing it, you had certain people, not even certain people, a lot of people did not even consider me to be African American anymore. It was just, he's Jewish. Literally, I couldn't be both. I was just Jewish. So I had one of my soldiers, who European American obviously, wanted to talk about Black Lives Matter. And he was like, well, you know, Black Lives Matter is the modern Black Panther Party. And I knew where this was going. So, and he was having this conversation with me because, okay, if I'm Jewish, obviously I identify there, and obviously I don't identify with this right here. And I decided to go a different approach with him. And I asked him, have you or anyone you know benefited from reduced lunches / free lunch? He was like, yeah. I'm like, has anybody in your family or have you benefited from the WIC program? He was like, yeah, definitely. And I'm like, good, because the Black Panthers did that. Face crack. Definitely a face crack. Because he was going from the approach of what the media was putting out. Now, again, Black Panther Party, Black Lives Matter movement, two totally separate things. But you're trying to sit here and say, oh, well, Black Panthers was such a terrorist group and this, that, and the third, not realizing Black Panther Party came into existence because of the KKK. But in addition to them trying to combat that, they did good things for the community, and these things they did for the community has thus been adopted into the United States of America as we know it. But when I said that, and his face cracked, I said to him, one, you can't tell me about my history. you can't do that. One, two, and he didn't know this when I gave it to him. And I said to him, the best thing that you can do is, because this information isn't taught in grammar school, high school, it's not taught at those low levels. You have to go to college to get this information. Granted, I had an African American studies teacher who was also African American, and I got a lot of this information there. And I even then went to do some researching myself, because it's messed up that our history is taken from us. Our history is being whitewashed in, you know, public schools, even in private schools, in the textbooks. And in order to get this history, you have to sit here and pay all this money to go to college just to get this information, which a lot of this is rarely available. But I said to him, the best thing that you can do is to teach your kids what it is that you don't know, especially pertaining to other cultures, other ethnicities. He still wasn't shit, but I had to school his ass, and I had to do it in such a way that it wasn't attacking him, but it was to get him to think like, yeah, what you think you know because the media told you ain't even the truth. But anyway, Kaylon feels that the African Americans are attacking white people. Baby girl, when? How? Why? Now, and I get upset when we continue to use white and black colors, because again, all of this originates back to slavery. And there's a difference between white people and European Americans. A huge difference. And if you don't understand it, you might want to do some research to really dig into why you don't understand it. But anyway, what did she say? So some random woman, we might have got her name, I didn't see it, joins and tells her this topic will more than likely come back up because she left. So you might have to explain it. I think production told her to go over there and say that. I really do. Because if you don't come back in, unless somebody asks you, there's no need to bring it up. And we could have literally just moved right on along. So Antoinette, so they come back. Antoinette introduces Kaylon and says her family hasn't been treated, says that her family has not treated African Americans this way. Kaylon feels that the media presents white people as hating black people, and that is what she is upset about. Well, here's the thing, sweetheart. This ain't got shit to do with the people that you're talking to, ma'am. You talking to the wrong damn group. Because how the fuck are we gonna sit here and correct how a group of people fucking feel about us? Because here's the reality. African Americans have done so much over the years to try to sit here and appease the dominant society. Don't give a fuck about us. And everything that we do does not work. We have tried not sagging of the pants. Better yet, fuck the sagging of the pants. If you go back to the 50s and the 60s and even the 70s, Many of the people that were being lynched and whatnot, guess what they're being lynched in dress clothes. So sack and pants don't fucking matter. We didn't wore suits don't matter. We didn't went and pursued higher education because you're not qualified. Now you're overqualified. Everything that we fucking do. Oh, how about y'all start your own businesses? We've did that multiple Black Wall Streets, and what have happened? They have been destroyed by who? The same group of people that don't fucking like us because our money's being circulated in our community and not their community. Oh, why don't you farm your own lands? Land was given to African Americans, horrible pieces of land, and then we were able with our green thumb to cultivate it. And what happened? It got snatched from us. This is not our fucking problem. Okay. She comes from a prominent family, and her great grandfather is Jefferson Davis. I don't have the time right now to do this because again, I got 7 minutes. I'm trying to hurry to get to the panel. Google Jefferson Davis. When y'all get done with this review, Google Jefferson Davis. And then see why that was so problematic. And I don't understand how all of them just skipped past that whole big ass piece. That was a big ass, like, how the fuck we skipped this? But anyway, and her sitting with black women supporting them. And I'm saying, like, so you want a cookie for sitting amongst African Americans supporting them? You want a cookie? And then she said, and we have to show America this is not who we are anymore. Again, this has nothing to do with African Americans. Nothing. Again, you are using the wrong damn avenue. I'll tell you, this shit really does upset my spirit. I'm glad I'm on the time crunch because I swear I will go and let have, but I think I might have time when I get to the panel. So Marie says she doesn't mean to interrupt, but she thinks this brunch is about Letitia and her announcement. Marie wants to hear Letitia's announcement. Now, her saying this ain't got nothing to do with it, the conversation is where it's at. Now, if anything, you should have went to Tambra because Tambra helped to bring this tangent. And if you didn't want this to go there, you could have cut Antoinette. I'll be like, Antoinette, ma'am, we can pick this up at the very end. But when you came in, we were actually getting ready to talk about this. So it seemed as if Marie wanted a moment. Again, Kaylon, all the way the fuck wrong. But Marie is wrong in some of this shit too. Okay. And Kaylon says, we are talking about real stuff right now. Like, this really is a real topic. Plus, there was a lot that we really need to unpack if we didn't. And then my thing is, Tambra is the MC. Bring your issue to Tambra. This ain't got shit to do with you. You already fucked up one brunch and you're fucking up another one. So Kaylon says, I feel that you need to be in control of things. Well, I mean, she not lying. But this is also one of those things of rather than just letting shit organically happen, you are inserting yourself in something that you don't need to. And it's almost as if you're deflecting from what the hell is going on in your life right now. So as he walks up on Kaylon, now that right there I didn't like. One, why you walking up on this girl? And two, Marie is a grown ass woman with a whole lot of mouth. Marie can talk this out her damn self. As much as I wasn't here for Kaylon sitting there trying to weaponize her tears, I'm not for this ganging up and you walking up on somebody, because I'm not for that. I'm not. I got to be fair in this shit. And she says, the brunch isn't about this. It's about Letitia. Tell Tambra that. But anyway, and she says, so you are out of line. And see, so are you. And so is Marie. Because this went from just general conversation to all of a sudden, y'all are actually antagonizing this woman. Like real fucking talk. Antagonizing this woman. Kaylon tells Marie, you have to be the center of attention. And Effie says, you don't know Marie. Again, Essie, who the fuck is talking to you? Was she supposed to be on this show and they just made her a friend? Y'all let me know. And then Marie, if you feel I'm in control, I'll be in control of this moment. This is about my girl today. Kaylon says, she is nobody. In reference to Marie. Granted, everybody got upset because it's like, how can you tell her she ain't nobody? Maybe Kaylon ain't heard of her. Hell, I ain't heard of nobody on this damn show, so. But hell, I'm nobody, because who the hell heard of me? I don't know. Um, let me see. Marie says, Google me. Kayla says, oh my gosh, I attacked her. And it's at this point that I felt like Kayla was being very disingenuous with how she was feeling and what the hell was going on. Because how the hell you go from crying, making something about you that wasn't about you, coming back in trying to sit here and garner sympathy when you told us who your great 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 grandfather was, and that wasn't a good thing. And now, and again, she is defending herself, yes, but now it's, oh my gosh, I'm attacking her. So you know exactly what it is that you are doing. Marie says it's time for her to leave. She needs to make my name taste like poop in her mouth, because I'm the wrong one. And I'm just like, poop? But okay, all right. I guess because of the audience and the people that were there. And I smooth passed over. But the councilman left, and Miss Dorothy was getting ready to leave, because now this it has turned into something different. Because as long as they were sitting here on a nice little even plane, it was good. But now that it's people fighting, arguing over each other, whatnot, not good. So Kaylon says, when Maurice says, because I'm the wrong one, Kaylon says, well, then come here. So that was an invitation for an ass whooping. And Marie says, we are not back in the 50s and the 60s. You don't tell me to come here. And that's where the episode ends. I know some of y'all may not like it because I was trying my best to be fair in how I was breaking this thing down. We can agree to disagree, but that's all I got. I'm about to go ahead and get off of here, do this panel, and try to upload it. I'm probably going to upload it after the fact. We'll see. But thank you guys so much for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you guys later on the next video. Peace.